Welcome back to another episode of the DFS Express. I am your host, the Daily Fantasy Sniper, here to talk UFC on Fox 28 from Orlando, Florida. The main event is Jeremy Stephens and Josh Emmett. Here in the Express, we are going to go through every fight on this card, giving you DraftKings specific picks based on the pricing. Before we get started, please give me a follow on Twitter at the DFS Sniper. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page, Daily Fantasy Sniper, on YouTube. And we're going to try and get back to my roots. I've been going a little over, have extended to 15 minutes recently. Going to try and do 10 minutes for this card, including this intro, so got to get moving here. Picks for every fight, and at the end, we're going to build a sample GPP or tournament lineup. So Jeremy Stephens is 8,600, taking on Josh Emmett, 7,600. My pick for the fight, straight up, I'm leaning Jeremy Stephens because I think he's a little more technical. And Josh Emmett has really been rushed up to the upper echelon of the 145-pound division after his win against Ricardo Lamas. But for DraftKings, Emmett, to me, presents more grappling upsides. He also has the path to victory, that he could get takedowns. With Stephens has sometimes struggled with in the past. I think he's improved. I think he probably can stop the takedowns, but it's just another path to victory for Emmett. We know the DraftKings scoring can really favor wrestlers. It's a really close pick'em fight. My lean pick'em wise is Jeremy Stephens, but I think Josh Emmett, for this price savings and the potential wrestling, is probably my preferred DraftKings play at 7,600. Jessica Andrade, 9,200. Tisha Torres, 7,000. I'm going to take Tisha Torres as a preferred play, especially in cash game, 7,000. She's a plus 260 underdog. In my opinion, that is just, for a fighter of her caliber, way off. Recency bias and Andrade beating up Gadelha and Torres going to decision with Watterson. Stylistically, though, I think Torres is not a pressure fighter like Gadelha, so she's not going to stay in Andrade's face. She's going to look to circle off, stick and move. Could be a boring fight to the fans, a little more technical if she has her way. So I like Tisha Torres for the price savings. Again, pick'em wise, I'm leaning Andrade, the big favorite, because you're relying on the judges with that potential style of Tisha Torres. Andrade is going to be moving forward, has more volume, and I think if it goes to the ground, she clearly has the advantage there. So pick'em-wise, again, Jessica Andrade, 9,200 is probably the safe play, but I really like the price savings, for especially in cash games, at 7,000 of Tisha Torres. We're going to keep the underdog train rolling here with our third fight in the scramble on the main card. Ilir Latifi is 7,900, takes on OSP at 8,300. I like Ilir Latifi. I'm not going to, if you want to call it a cop-out, kind of explain my reasoning for the first two DraftKings leans. I'm going to take Ilir Latifi straight up to win. I think he's the better grappler. He can pressure OSP, potentially get takedowns. OSP's get-up game is fine, but I think it's going to tire him out. I think Latifi has a win over Tyson Pedro last time out, who at the time people were discounting, and now Pedro's the next big thing. OSP struggled against Corey Anderson in the grappling, but Anderson has chin issues, and OSP caught him with a head kick in the third round. I don't think that happens here for Latifi. It could get sloppy late in the fight, but I think the grappling is really going to be the separator here, which we, again, like that on DraftKings, so he's my preferred play at 7,900. Mike Perry, 9,400. Mike Griffin, 6,800. Not going to overanalyze this one. I think Mike Perry goes in and blasts Max Griffin. Max Griffin's only path to victory is pushing Perry against the cage, frustrating him, getting in his head. Perry fighting in his hometown. I think he's relatively safe this weekend. I'll have a bunch of exposure. Mike Perry's to play at 9,400. Renan Barao, 8,500. Brian Kelleher, 7,700. Kelleher is a trendy underdog that I'm staying away from. I like Renan Barao here. I know he has deteriorated. I know the Nova União camp has also kind of been an USADA victim. There's tons of them. I just don't rate Brian Kelleher very highly. I also think he's going to be trendy. Barao, say what you want. Even a diminished Barao, I think, takes care of Kelleher. And we'll see what happens here. Renan Barao is to play 8,500. Sarah McMahon, 8,900. Marion Reneau, 7,300. This is a good fight to target on both sides. I actually think it's a women's fight that I'm liking the under here. And McMahon really quit against Caitlin Vieira once she was on her back. Sometimes you see that from wrestlers, but Marion Reneau was taken down a bunch of times by a BJJ practitioner and Talita Bernardo, whose takedowns aren't that great. McMahon, the wrestler, should have better takedowns. I think she gets Reneau down, controls the fight, eventually finds an arm triangle. She's the pick here. You can play Reneau as an underdog. It's not totally crazy. She is decent BJJ, could catch a submission from the bottom, but in the end, I think McMahon takes the decision, or not the decision, is the preferred play. I'm thinking a second round sub here. At some point, I'm just seeing this fight finishing, so she's the play at 8,900. Angela Hill, 8,200. Marina Moroz, 8,000. Ugly fight. Marina Moroz, just not enough volume for me to ever consider in DraftKings. Angela Hill is going to be pretty trendy, but she hasn't been that good in the UFC. Back for a second stint. I know she's been in a couple wars, but she has volume, which you like on DraftKings, and is the favorite to win this fight. So she's the preferred play at 8,200. Alan Jouban, 9,100. Ben Killaby Saunders, 7,100. Jouban should just be able to just outstrike Saunders. He's more technical. Saunders is dangerous on the ground, especially off his back. He's a 10th planet. I believe he's a black belt. Jouban, though, tends to take care of the guys he should and hasn't been able to pull an upset. I think he gets back to his winning ways here. 9,100, he's the preferred play, but there are other guys in that range I think I prefer a little more. Prashino, 9,000. Sam Alvey, 7,200. Prashino is not one of those guys. A UFC debut, 9,000. Sam Alvey, 7,200. This is a GPP play. I wouldn't play Sam Alvey in your cash games, but Prashino comes forward more. He looks to exchange, and that's the kind of fight Sam Alvey needs. People have figured out Sam Alvey and that he's a counter striker, tend to stay away. I don't think Prashino is going to do that here in his UFC debut. If he does, he'll probably win. But on the off chance he doesn't, Alvey's a great counter striker with big power, 7,200. I'm willing to take the shot on him in tournaments. Hani Yahya, 9,300 against Russell Doan, 6,900. I have seen some people taking Russell Doan, another one that I think is becoming a little trendy. I'm going to stay away from that because I don't think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Hani Yahya. And I think eventually Yahya gets a submission. If you're picking Doan, you're really relying on him. This fight's probably going to get to the ground. I just don't see how Yahya doesn't get it there. So you're relying on Doan stopping the takedowns or just surviving until Yahya gasses out, which he does have issues doing. I just don't see that happening. I like Hani Yahya at 9,300. Alex Perez, 8,700 against Eric Shelton, 7,500. Shelton fights close, and it's probably going to be a close fight. Both guys pretty well-rounded. Get takedown. Shelton's been in there with the better competition, so he's my slight lean at 7,500. The price savings really is what pushes it over the top. I think he's the better DraftKings play, but this is a tight fight. I just think his experience in there against higher level competition is eventually what's going to win the day, but I'm not overly confident about it, so I'll take the price savings. We have Manny Bermudez taking on Albert Morales. Bermudez 8,800 against Morales 7,400. I think Bermudez is able to get takedowns here. Morales has been able to survive off his back. He's got decent BJJ, but Bermudez is just on another level. I think he's lethal down there. This fight should end up on the ground, and Bermudez has a clear advantage down there, so he's my preferred play at 8,800. Now we jump over to build our GPP lineup on DraftKings. As a reminder, these are boom or bust lineups. Sometimes they're going to bust. I'm kind of going all or nothing. You want to make yourself different. I'm going for first place, not to min cash in these things. So make your lineup different. Usually you want to leave some money on the table and target fighters who are going to get finishes. So this week I'm going to go to the underdogs, and I mentioned Tecia Torres. I'm going to put Tecia Torres and Sam Alvey in. I think Alvey gets a finish if he wins. Probably the only way I see him winning. And Tecia Torres I think will be under-owned and opens up a lot of savings at 7,000. Even though she is primarily a cash game play for me, we're going to start there. Mike Perry and Hani Yahya are the guys at the top that I really like, and I still have a fair amount of salary here, where I can go Renan Barão, Manny Bermudez, Sarah McMahon. I could pretty much have my choice. I mentioned that I like the McMahon fight to finish, so I'll take McMahon, and then I can scroll down into the 8,000s, and I also liked Ilir Latifi. This lineup is different in that it has 3 underdogs. Most people are going to go with a 4-2 or 5-1 type construction. I'm leaving $300 on the table, so I think I've set myself up pretty well. think I have 6 live fighters, a few finishes in there, and just a different lineup. So that's the lineup we've built. Tisha Torres, Sam Alvey, Mike Perry, Hani Yahya, Sarah McMahon, Alir Latifi. Good luck on your contest. I will see you next week. Please give me a follow on Twitter at the DFS Sniper, and I'll see you next week.